Good day everyone, this is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor Mr. Roldan Ardinis to use this as an educational material, followed by objectives of the presentation. So everyone, today we'll be discussing global demography and global migration. First, let's talk about global demography, the study of population trends across the world. Demographic changes such as birth rates, death rates, and aging populations influence global economies, labor markets, and international policies. One key theory that explains this is demographic transition theory, which describes how societies shift from high birth and death rates lower ones as they develop. This transition affects migration pattern as well. So migration is the movement of people from one place to another, driven by economic opportunities, conflicts, environmental changes, or social factors. So global migration has accelerated due to globalization, as advancement in technology, transportation, and communication make it easier for people to move. So migration impacts both the sending and receiving countries. For host countries, it can provide economic benefits like labor force expansion and cultural diversity, but may also lead to political tension and job competition. For sending countries, migration can ease population pressure and bring economic benefits through remittances, but it may also result in brain drain and labor shortage. So for example, connection to globalization. Imagine a skilled worker from Philippines moving to Canada due to better job opportunities. This movement is influenced by globalization. Canada industries need skilled labor, and Filipino workers seek higher wages and better living conditions. Meanwhile, remittances sent home boost the Philippine economy, demonstrating how migration fuels global economic integration. However, this is also creates a labor gap in the Philippines, affecting its local industries.
Population study and demography are crucial fields that analyze size composition, distribution, and changes within human population. Demography in particular is the statistical study of populations, focusing on human characteristics such as age, gender, ethnicity, and other social factors. It provides a deeper understanding of societal trends and is essential for guiding policy decisions, planning, and resources allocation in various sectors, including healthcare, education, and economic development. Key components of population studies include population size, which refers to the total number of people in a given area, and population composition, which looks at the structures of the population based on factors like age and sex. Population distribution examines how populations are spread across different regions, distinguishing between urban and rural areas, and identifying regional differences. Population change look at the dynamics of population growth or decline influenced by birth rates, death rates, and migration patterns.
In this diagram, it highlights the three main issues of the disadvantage of migration for receiving countries. The first one is the strain on resources. Strain on resources increase demand for public service such as healthcare, education, and housing due to a growing population. The second one is the social tensions. Social tensions challenge related to integrating migrants into society, which may lead to cultural friction and division. The third one is the wage depression. Wage depression increases labor competition, which can drive down wages, particularly in low-skilled job sectors. Migration brings both benefits and challenges to receiving countries. While it can boost economic growth, provide labor-essential industries, and enrich cultural diversity, it also comes with disadvantages such as increased pressure on public resources, social tensions, and wage depression. This challenge can lead to conflict between local population and migrant communities if not managed properly.
Demographic transition theory. So there are four stages of demographic transition theory. First is the pre-transition. This means that birth and death rates are both high due to poor healthcare, famine, and disease. As a result of population growth remains very slow and unstable. And then the second one is the early transition. So it means that death rates decline significantly due to improvements in medicine, sanitation, and food supply, while birth rates remain high. This leads to rapid increase in population growth. And then the third one is the late transition. This means that birth rates begin to decline as a result of urbanization, education, and access to contraception, while death rates stay slow. Consequently, population growth starts to slow down. And then the last stages is post-transition. Both birth and death rates are low due to advanced healthcare, stable economies, and social changes. As a result of population growth becomes slow, stagnant, or even negative.
Globalization's migrations in the contemporary world refers to large-scale movement of people across international borders due to various social, economic, political, and environmental factors. First is increased mobility. Advances in transportations and communications have made it easier for people to move across countries and continents. Globalization has also contributed to more fluid movement of workers, students, and families. And second one is complex patterns. Migrations today involves diverse routes and reasons such as labor migrations, forced displacement due to conflict or disasters, and family reunifications. Countries experience both immigrations, people coming in, and immigrations, people leaving, creating dynamic migrations trends. And last one is major impact. Migrations influences economics, cultures, and societies. Positive effects may include improved labor market, knowledge exchange, and multicultural growth. In the modern world, migration is no longer a simple movement from one place to another. It's a complex global phenomenon which significant impacts on individuals and nations.
Types of global migration. Number 1. Internal migration. It's a movement of people within the same country, often for better opportunities. Example is a family moves from a rural village to a big city for jobs. Number 2. International migration. It is a movement of people across country borders for work, education, or better living conditions. Example, a student moves from India to Canada for university. And number 3, forced migrations. People are compelled to leave due to war, national disasters, or persecution. Example is Syrian refugee flee to Europe due to civil war. And number 4, voluntary migration. People move by choice for better opportunities such as jobs or lifestyle. Example, a software engineer relocates from Brazil to the US for a high-paying job.
Driver of global migration. There are type of global migration. Number 1, economic factors. Economic factors is seeking better job opportunities and higher wages, improving living standard. The second one is political factors. Political factors is escaping a conflict, persecution, and instability, seeking a safety and security. And the last one is social factor. Social factors is joining family members already in another country, education, and personality growth. Various factors are migration. This can be economic, political, and social. They influence individual decisions to move.
remittances, money that migrants send back to home their families. This inflow of money helps support families and strengthen the home country's economy. A Filipino nurse working in the UK sent part of her salary back to her family in the Philippines. Her family uses that money to buy food, pay for school, or build a small business. Reduces employment. When people move abroad for work, it creates more job opportunities for those left behind in the home country, thus reducing the unemployment rate. In a small village in India, many young people go to work to the Middle East. This reduces the number of job seekers in the village, so local businesses can hire the remaining workers for easily scale transfer. Migrants often learn new skill and gain experience while working abroad. When they return home, they bring back this knowledge, which benefits local industry. A man who worked on construction in Dubai learned modern building techniques. When he returned to Nepal, he used this skill to start a construction company, improving the quality of local infrastructure.
My topic is disadvantages for sending countries in global demography and global migration. So first is brain drain. So when skilled workers such as doctors, engineers, and researchers migrate to other countries for better job opportunities, their home countries lose valuable human capital. This brain drain slows down innovation, weakens institutional capacities, and limits economic growth. So countries that invest in education see little return when their brightest minds leave, creating a gap in knowledge and expertise. So the second is labor shortages. So migration often leads to labor shortages, especially in sectors like healthcare, agriculture, and education. As working age populations leave, business struggle to find qualified workers, resulting in reduced productivity and economic output. So this can also discourage foreign investment, as companies may perceive a lack of workforce stability. So the third is demographic imbalance. So as younger, working age individuals migrate, the population left behind tends to be older. So this leads to a growing dependency ratio, where fewer workers support a larger aging population. So public services such as healthcare and pensions come under strain, and the economy can slow down due to a shrinking labor force and declining consumer demand. So over time, this can exacerbate inequality and hinder long-term development.
Migration has been a significant factor in shaping societies and economies worldwide. Many countries benefit from the influx of migrants who contribute to various sectors. While migration presents challenges, its advantage for receiving countries are substantial, particularly in terms of labor force, economic growth, and cultural diversity. However, effective management through careful planning and integration policies is essential to maximize these benefits. Economic growth is another significant advantage of migration. With an increased labor force, productivity rises, leading to higher economic output. Migrants contribute to national economies through taxes, consumer spending, and entrepreneurship. Many start their own businesses, creating jobs and stimulating economic activity. As a result, receiving countries experience greater innovation, competitiveness, and overall economic development. Cultural diversity is also a key benefit of migration. Migrants introduce new traditions, languages, and perspectives that enrich society. This diversity fosters social development by encouraging cross-cultural cultures and broadening people's understanding of different cultures. In many cases, migrant communities contribute to the arts, cuisine, and other cultural sectors, making societies more dynamic and inclusive.